asked a friend of me to film, who is filmmaker, to just at the beginning the weddings, kind of archives, and I asked her in Vancouver to film the wedding, but just 26 minutes I told her. And also I filmed the first puja, the ritual, when Felix was 2 months old in Delhi, but I didn't have I was just, I would say, recording for the family. But after, I think it was like a few years after, in 2014, I think, was thinking it would be important to record also all the culture, and it is also because the kids were growing, and we used to come every year in Delhi, and I was thinking that all this culture, which is disappearing somehow, and I was very touched also by Nani India, and I think the film was also a way to develop a bond with a relationship with Nani. I used to call her Mother India, like the film. Because she said, "You have to call me Mother." The first time I met, and after she became Nani India with the kids, so it was her name. And but also it was not only recording the rituals. It was also, I think, to write a documentary film, meaning that it has other dimensions that I hope it can resonate with each of us, no matter what culture we have. It's something more universal about, the grandmother's transmission and disparition, and so on. So I wanted to do it also more universal, so that we can, it can resonate with each of us. That was the inspiration somehow. So it took like 15, about 15 years. Yeah, sorry.
Est-ce que la salle a une question? Any question?
There's a question here.
We have also,
I would like to welcome Rupa and Felix, who are here with us. Thank you, Rupa, for joining us, and Felix also. Thank you very much for bringing us this very deep, emotional, and loving, documentary. We loved it. I watched it. This is my third time, by the way, that I watched it. And every time I watch it, can you hear us, by the way? You are muted. Rupa, you're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself. Oh, it's on your right. Yeah, there. Can you, Felix, can you say hi so that we can hear you?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. There.
You can hear, yes.
Yeah, so thank you very much for being with us. I just asked Ben that what was the inspiration, because I saw that he made this film over the period of several years, right? So I was just wondering whether he had this in his mind that he wanted to make a film out of it. I would like to ask you also, when you guys were making these videos, I can see that they were for your own, memories and all that. How did he discuss this idea with you? What was going on behind the scenes when you guys decided that you wanted to make a film? And when did you decide that we should make a film? Please tell us.
I think it was the first time when we went to India when Felix was born in 2010 that Banwa was really inspired by the house, by meeting Nani India, getting into the new culture. And he had talked about making a film, but I didn't think myself that it would be a film like that, and neither did Nani India. She always laughed that, you're coming with a camera, maybe you want to do something, but we never thought it would be a film like what it became at the end. It was a puzzle. Each year she would ask us, is it going to end? Maybe next year, maybe next year. But yeah, it was a very difficult question in my head too. I was asking him that, what are we doing? And he wanted to know more. And Nanindia was one person who was ready to let him bring the camera and answer all his questions.
Yeah, we saw that annoyance, you know. Khotia, tu meri video bana rahe hai.
Exactly.
We saw
And
that.
to translate that, you understand that how do you translate khote?
Khota is a, you know, love. It's a, what do we say? It's like when you call someone with love, without affection, you know. And Khota is donkey, by the way. And it's a beautiful, you know, innocent animal. So
yes, in a Punjabi culture, that word khota you cannot translate into French or English or any other language. So it took me a while. Imam, don't use that language. ऐसे किस तरह ना मैं तो बोल सा. So it's like it was impossible.
that's right. Okay, let's see if the audience have any questions.
Yes,
I see
please.
that. Yeah, here is.
You go first.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. It's not a question, but I just wanted to say thank you for capturing Nani, and I think Nani, we saw her strength, son courage, until the end. Even as she was walking with a cane and being able to pick up the basket, making sure that it's lean, and it reminds me enormously about my parents that immigrated to Canada from Mauritius 45 years ago, and how they've kept every morning until today. They wake up every morning. My mom has Alzheimer's today, but to be able to wake up and pray and go to the statues. And when Nani in the movie says, don't donate my statues, they're not gonna do anything about it, you know, it reminded me, what am I gonna do with my parents' statues? Because every morning they have this ritual that they kept. And to be honest, even if I still dance today and I sing in Sanskrit, the waking up every morning and praying to God is not a ritual that I've kept. And how to go back and to how to go back and reconnect to this beautiful ritual, because I see Nani in my father today and I see Nani in my mom. So to not lose our traditions and to remember to honor them is such a beautiful reminder. So merci beaucoup pour le film, et de pouvoir continuer à se rappeler on est résilient à travers nos coutumes. Alors merci.
Merci beaucoup. So we took some takujis home, some were, given to the Ganga, and others we have some. You can see the mandir at home, in fact, with some.
Yes.
And
they're sitting with us.
And I have a story to tell also. When we showed the film in Paris the first time, so Nani India was laughing, of course. She has seen the film, and she said, "Oh, it's great because the Takuji are going to travel." And for her, it was not like the film will, show the Takujis, but it's like the Takujis will be in Paris. So I think it was quite interesting because it reflected culture, and so it was very moving.
So first of all,
Can you just
yes,
close?
yes,
Yes, thank you.
First of all, thank you very much. Actually, both bari mere rona nikla. Like I was tearing watching this movie because my nanny raised me since I'm 5 years old. So I can recognize so many things, like reading the books and the Hindu avatars and all of these stories. Like she used to spend every day sitting with me and praying and all these things. And I feel like watching this movie, it kind of brings something in me in the sense that, we I'm like there's an attachment to the culture and the religion because of this, because of the nani, because of my nani. But then after, like, I would watch like the woman, the domestic worker that was working there and cleaning and I, being born in Canada, also like reflecting a lot about the discrimination towards the Muslims and the Dalits and the caste system, and it just becomes a very complex relationship with religion and being like part of like this 1.5 generation where you're not fully there, not fully here, and I guess it's more a question for your daughter, I guess, or your Felix, to see like how do they feel about all of this.
I'm really happy for the movie because I think my nanny was a very important person in my life because she was the person that created the bond between my French and Indian culture, and she is the one that taught me everything that I know now. And thanks to her, I can now like embrace my South Asian side. So I'm very glad that she has a movie for her because she really deserves it.
Felix, do you want to answer this question? Say whatever you feel like,
Come in the photo. Come more in the photo.
Yeah, we can't see you. Felix, we want to see you.
He's shy.
I know.
Tu peux parler en français.
Oh, you can.
So yes, Nani is with us with the Kojis, and we'll keep on passing on the culture in our family.
Thank you. So coming back to your question, maybe Benoit, do you want to address the question?
No, I was thinking that in a multicultural family, like many people now, I think the culture is like a resource somehow, and you take some part, you recreate a new culture. I don't have this idea that the tradition is something fixed and have to be follow the tradition as such. It's just, I think it's a process of recreating a new tradition somehow, and also that identity is relational. Often we use a metaphor of roots for the earth, but I was thinking that maybe it's more like the orchid roots in the air, to the air, and now to the sun, more than something that is fixed. So I think it's how it's constructing. I think a new culture, but it's important to know the cultures, the different culture, because we live in France. We have also some bonds with Canada, and with Canada and other countries also. So, many people now, we try to do our own cuisine.
Yeah, I would like to address your comment. I think it was very important point that you have made. I see it in a slightly different way. I understand that we have this, caste, class, and religious divisions, and we see that oppression, and the hierarchies in the South Asian societies. But I have noticed something else in the film. For example, if you see Nani's relationship with different people, for example, the person who's ironing the clothes, and she says that he's like us, right? He's like he and I, we got together, married together at the same time, and so that's the kind of relationship she has. For example, the kind of relationship she has with the vegetable vendor who comes to her door every day, right? So it's a very egalitarian kind of relationship where they're fighting, where they're kind of, and he's closing the door and she's giving him a chores also. Here, you're going, take these flowers and, leave them somewhere. And similarly, I also noticed that this house help women, I've seen her since, the beginning of the film, and it looks like she's also part of the family, So I understand.
Yes, exactly.
Rupa, do you want to add something to this?
Exactly. I'm with you 150%. For Nani, this person who helped her in the house, she would cook for her every morning this woman would come, she would have her breakfast with Nani. She would come back at lunchtime. Nani would cook again. And mom could not cook for herself at the end of the day, but she would always cook for her. Nobody from that house could go hungry, in a way. And she had, you're very right, she had a very strong bond. She was a person who was a very traditional person, but when it came to the human values, she would not let anybody come to the house and mistreat her. We had a driver, we had this person who helped her, as you said, the vendor who's coming to the house. She would fight with them and they all would address her as Mataji, which is a very polite form.
Yeah.
And she would scold them and she would haggle every price with them. They had a special place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rupa told me in advance that she's very emotional about, right now because it's just been 1 year and of course it's a mother-daughter relationship. So we really appreciate, Rupa, your presence here
Thank
and
you.
you taking
Yeah.
part in it. I understand, so if you see that, broken voice or the pain in her voice, we understand that. We have another question, and Rupa, I also have a question for you, but we have another question in the audience.
This is more of a comment than a question, but Benoit, thank you very much for making this film. And it made me somehow think of two things. One is there's a French film called Entre les Murs about a class teacher in a multi-ethnic school in France. There's another documentary called Être et avoir, the basic verbs to be and to have. But beyond just the verbs, there's a lot in those words. And in a similar way that your film and kind of documenting these years with your mother-in-law is about this, kind of awareness. You go with curiosity and openness to another culture, in addition to your culture and your family. And I was thinking when individuals and communities and countries are not afraid of this newness coming into them from migrant cultures, and migrant cultures also accepting things in the host culture and families, and then there is newness and growth that emerges in the world versus a fear of something being lost. And I thought your film for your children, for your community in France and as well as in India, and for all people in the world, that this way, there's a quote by Salman Rushdie called "How Does Newness Come into the World?" And it goes, "How does newness enter the world? How is it born? Of what fusions, translations, conjoinings is it made? How does it survive, extreme and dangerous as it is? What compromises and what deals? What betrayals of its secret nature must it make to stave off the wrecking crew, the soldiers of the past? What can it use? What will it be?" But to sort of, in a way, that, with migrations going on all over the world, how not to be afraid of newness but celebrate it.
Thank you. It's very touching, and of course, this idea with the film was also to be, about tolerance. Nani was. It's difficult to say, in the past tense, because a film, I think that is a documentary cinema about. It's also to keep alive, the people somehow, and to record the memory and to create a new memory. But Nani India somehow was very traditional, but also very open-minded, because she was also very pragmatic. So she said, like, okay, because you married Indian woman, so you were an Indian in your past life, and that's it. Yeah, it was not.
And you became an Indian. You became a Hindu for her.
Yeah, for her, so it's okay, and everything was like this. So she went to a Christian school, and the kids go to Christian school, of course, to also Sikh temple. So she had more like the sense of spirituality. So on one hand, for herself, she was very strict. Yeah, but she was accepting, and I think it's quite interesting these relationships. That she had her own culture, but very open to everybody who came.
There's a question there, a comment. Jeanette?
Oui, bonjour. J'ai trouvé ça très touchant, très intéressant. J'adore l'Inde, je m'y retrouvais. J'ai beaucoup aimé les visuels, tout ce qu'on peut partager. Ce qu'on peut partager même nous-mêmes quand on y va, même si on n'a pas de famille, si on n'a pas de lien, c'est toujours très, très, très ouvert. Et bon, c'est vrai, on peut des fois se faire dire qu'on a dû être aidé dans une autre vie parce qu'effectivement, il y a une communication qui s'établit bien. Moi, ma question qui me vient, que j'ose à peine poser, et peut-être vous n'êtes vraiment pas obligé de répondre, où est la France dans tout ça? Parce qu'il y a quand même une transition qui est importante, mais loin de la France chez vous. On ne s'y reconnaît pas tellement. Donc,
Oui.
Ça fait partie de l'histoire, j'imagine.
En fait, ce qui m'intéressait, en fait, c'était ce temps un peu suspendu chaque année dans un autre lieu. Vous remarquerez que le film est presque un huis clos, c'est-à-dire que c'est tourné en fait dans la maison et puis pas plus de 100 mètres. Donc je voulais, en fait, ce qui est un peu bizarre dans le cinéma documentaire, enfin bizarre c'est pas le terme particulier, c'est qu'il faut réduire la focale, il faut faire un travail d'épurer, de réduire, y compris l'espace, pour pouvoir embrasser quelque chose de plus large. C'est un peu une dimension paradoxale. Et c'est pour ça que j'ai mis, on voit que l'autre, c'est une autre maison en fait. On ne voit pas autour, on voit le jardin de la maison en France. Alors c'était un peu plus compliqué que ça, parce qu'en fait, Félix est né en Algérie, parce que j'étais posté en Algérie, mais ça j'ai pas du tout évoqué. Et donc on venait au début d'Algérie vers, on allait au Canada aussi. Enfin bref, c'était assez complexe. Mais j'ai voulu aussi montrer un peu une transmission dans une nouvelle maison qui apparaissait, qui était en fait encore hors cadre, un peu en futur, sur la nouvelle culture qui apparaissait. Et je voulais, c'était enregistrer et porter un regard sur ces moments un peu particuliers, et surtout sur la tendre enfance, comme on dit pour les enfants, où la relation se fait surtout par des regards, des gestes, des moments, plutôt que verbalisés. Et donc, je dirais que la maison en France, elle est plus un hors cadre, hors champ, comme on dit en cinéma. Elle apparaît plutôt vers la fin, et voilà, après il y a le temps qui continuera, j'allais dire la vie en dehors du film continuera. Donc voilà, c'était mon propos, c'était surtout sur la grand-mère. Ça aurait fait un autre film, évidemment, il y a 3 millions de films qu'on pourrait faire, mais il me semblait important de faire ce film-là à ce moment-là, et puis aussi de travailler l'écriture, au sens pas écriture, écrire comme ça, mais l'écriture filmique. Alors ça a mis 5 mois à monter, parce que j'avais pas tellement de footage de rush, comme on dit en France, une 50aine d'heures, mais évidemment il fallait travailler la matière à l'image près, parce que c'est filmé d'abord, si vous remarquez peut-être, c'est qu'au début c'est filmé sans pied ni rien. Je voulais être proche des corps, parce que c'était proche plus de l'émotion, de la relation qu'on avait. Et puis le dernier tournage, là j'ai tourné avec un pied ou l'image plus posée, qui était comme une sorte de revoir à cette maison. Cette maison qui est vraiment le cœur de la relation, voilà, qui aujourd'hui est fermée. Et quand on est retourné dans la maison, juste après qu'elle soit décédée, 4 jours après, on est venu à Delhi. Et il y avait toutes ces traces-là, c'était très émouvant. Et en même temps, cette maison était un temple, c'était pas que des briques et du ciment, c'était vraiment quelque chose d'autre. Et on avait l'impression que tous les esprits s'étaient envolés. Ce n'était plus qu'une sorte de squelette. Et Et c'est ça qui m'intéressait. Après, je pense qu'il y aurait plein de films à faire, effectivement. Moi, je suis concerné en France sur la question de l'intolérance. D'un côté, des discours anti-immigration, xénophobes, etc. C'est des choses qui, comme citoyen français, mais comme beaucoup ailleurs aussi, vraiment me questionnent. Ce rejet, même s'il y a des processus inverses, hein, dans l'école de Anouk et de Félix, c'est une école où on a des gens qui viennent de partout, et les enfants grandissent dans ce contexte, et donc ça porte quand même un espoir. Mais comme vous savez, en France, le système, disons, républicain a été un peu perverti. On parle de laïcité, mais en fait, c'est pas la vraie laïcité. Parfois, c'est simplement une sorte d'écran contre les populations musulmanes ou autres. Voilà.
Et moi j'avais une petite question, mais je pense que tu y as déjà répondu beaucoup. Et déjà bravo. Bonjour papa.
Non, bonjour Camille.
Coucou comme ça. C'est la deuxième fois que je vois le film et je trouve à chaque fois super, parce qu'en plus d'être un bel hommage à Nani India, c'est aussi un beau cadeau que vous avez fait à Félix et à Anouk pour la transmission intergénérationnelle. Je trouve que c'est magnifique. Moi, ce qui m'a beaucoup frappé, en plus des rituels dans le film, c'est aussi, tu filmes, Benoît, beaucoup à l'extérieur, la construction et la déconstruction de certains immeubles. On voit au fur et à mesure des années l'immeuble d'en face qui se construit, qui s'aménage. Finalement, il y a aussi cette histoire de mémoire qui est très présente, j'ai l'impression, dans ton film. Qu'est-ce qui est gardé, qu'est-ce qui s'en va, qu'est-ce qui perdure avec le temps. Et voilà, ma question, tu y as répondu en partie, parce que c'était après le décès justement de Nani India, qui est devenue la maison aujourd'hui. Est-ce qu'il y a de la reconstruction? Est-ce que ça a été démoli pour refaire des buildings? Qu'est-ce qu'il en est de cette trace et de la mémoire de ce lieu?
Je pense que toute mémoire se construit par les lieux, par l'espace. Hein, ça, c'est important, et je dirais qu'aujourd'hui, la maison, elle est d'abord dans le film, en quelque sorte, mais on a besoin d'une enveloppe d'espace, de lieu, pour construire une mémoire. C'était pour ça aussi que j'avais travaillé cette question autour alors ça structure aussi le film en tant que temporalité. Should I translate into English?
Yeah.
It's okay en français. Et donc on voit effectivement la maison du voisin d'en face qui se construit, l'autre qui se détruit. Il y a très peu de maisons qui restent. Ça, c'est une maison qui a été construite en fait, comme l'explique la tante au début, au moment des réfugiés, la partition. Il y a tout un quartier, c'est East Patel Nagar, qui a été donné. On a donné des petits lots aux gens venant de ce qui est aujourd'hui au Pakistan. Et donc cette maison-là, qui est construite dans les années début 50, c'est presque la seule aujourd'hui, parce qu'il y a une spéculation immobilière très forte à Delhi, et donc les enfants en fait ils vendent, parfois ils gardent un étage ou deux à des promoteurs, des développeurs. C'est pour ça qu'il y a plein de voitures partout. Avant, il n'y avait aucune voiture, parce que en fait, il y a tellement d'habitants, mais il n'y a pas de place de garage. Mais donc, c'était aussi montrer les transformations, c'est aussi les transformations de l'Inde contemporaine. Hein, là, voilà, le côté de spéculation très forte. Et finalement, d'ailleurs, cette mémoire, elle va disparaître, je pense, si elle n'est pas gardée. C'est-à-dire qu'il n'y a pas de processus de patrimonialisation, making heritage, sur ce quartier. Un quartier, au fait, où les gens parlaient plus punjabi, évidemment, que hindi, et qui venaient parfois des mêmes villages, des mêmes endroits. Donc c'était intéressant. D'ailleurs, ça m'avait intéressé beaucoup aussi dans la motivation de faire du film. Et j'ai plutôt mis l'accent sur... alors, j'ai donné un peu le contexte. Et aussi, j'ai plutôt mis l'accent sur Nani India que le quartier. Mais je voulais montrer, en fait, par peu de choses, les transformations de Delhi et de l'Inde.
Thank you. Any question? Also question?
Premièrement, félicitations. C'est un film fait avec beaucoup de compréhension de la culture indienne. Ma seule question, c'est que vous avez visité l'Inde évidemment plusieurs reprises, mais pas une seule fois je vous ai vu avec un verre de vin de l'Inde. Est-ce que ça exprime votre opinion sur les vins de l'Inde ou...
Alors en fait, j'ai bu du vin de l'Inde, effectivement. Je crois que c'est dans la région de Bangalore qu'ils en font pas mal. Mais
c'est pas chez Nani India.
pas chez Nani India. Voilà, oui, bah, mais je dois dire que bon, j'avais la chance d'être le beau-fils, le gendre, le son-in-law préféré de Nani India, je ne sais pas pourquoi. En tout cas, alors elle me préparait toujours à manger, des trucs super, et vraiment, elle faisait ça avec amour, et évidemment, elle ne mangeait pas jamais avec nous, hein, comme souvent dans cette génération, et donc, et souvent, elle me redonnait à manger, je n'osais pas dire non, voilà, et tout ça. Alors, Rupa lui disait, mais arrête, peut-être que ça suffit. Oh, mais arrête, tu es en train de le priver, etc. Donc il y avait tout un jeu comme ça. Et donc j'ai effectivement découvert voilà, ça. Et voilà, sur le vin indien, je ne peux pas vous dire, je ne suis pas assez connaisseur et je n'ai pas investi en Inde. Une prochaine fois, je vais.
Vous en connaissez?
Bon, je pense qu'on peut faire du très bon vin partout.
That's great. I have one last question, perhaps, unless you have anything else to say. Rupa and I, we share this thing which is in common, that we both did our PhD in gender and women's studies, and we had a common supervisor. Rupa, what I felt in the film, that the cultural transmission, you know, the tradition, somehow the onus is on women, you know, it's the women who's passing the culture and the religion to the next generation. And one scene which was very important for me was where in your home, you are offering, the kids are offering, you know, this prayers to before Thakur, and it's actually Anouk who's doing that, right? And she's reciting that prayer, whereas Felix is sitting in the corner and playing the game, which of course I understand that is also very important in life. But I see that it's actually Anouk who's leading. And also when they are reciting the prayer, I see that Anouk is although younger than Felix, but she's the one who memorized it and she's the one who's leading the prayers, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think about this pressure or the onus or the responsibility, what you may call it, that is usually on women in South Asian cultures, whether it be Hindu or Muslim or, you know, any religion, but culture, religion, tradition, that has to be passed on through women. What do you think about this? And you also.
Exactly, I agree, because it was in our house, it was Nani India who passed this culture. But I must say, my brothers, both brothers, my elder brothers, are very religious. And but they could not transmit to their children, and especially my older brother, who is living in UK. He is as religious and as superstitious as Nani India could be, and his kids are just shaking their heads and saying, "Leave it. We are Brits. We don't believe. And what are you talking about?" But he follows everything that Nani India would have. Whereas what Nani taught them, we brought back Thakurji's, and you're right, Felix is sitting in one scene playing the game and Anouk is saying the prayer. But I must give credit to Felix that every Sunday morning when we have to give Thakurji's a bath, Felix is the first one to wake up with me and he would coax Anouk and say, Anouk, get up, it's time to give Thakurji's their baths. And I'm saying, okay, 5 minutes. So he's getting there. I think you're right, it's been instilled by the women always. But we need to teach our boys, our sons, I feel. It's time.
I get you, Rupa. I agree with you. So, men in our culture, they're good at learning stuff and doing it, but they just keep it to themselves, right?
They cannot
transmit.
transmit.
When it comes to the cultural transmission, that only comes through, What do you think, your relationship with Nani? What is it that was more interesting part in your relationship with Nani? What is the moment, the memory that you really, cherish, or something that you think was very significant in your interaction with Nani?
I think that something that was really significant was when I had my henna done, and she always washed my henna. Yes, yes. And she'll always do it very carefully. And also, what I also really liked is that my mom would teach me all the Hindu prayers, and on the phone I'll have to sing them to Nani. So that was also a good memory.
I would like to say for Felix, I totally agree that he's passing through the woman. And, also on the Rupa is Indian side, and but I noticed that Felix plays soccer all the time. I don't like soccer, but he loves soccer, so I have to buy a jersey of what FC Montreal when I come. But when he has a game, he's a goalkeeper. He goes to the mandir, and I can see that he's making a prayer. Like you see the soccer player, when there is a game at the TV, they often have this thing.
No, but they pray every day.
Yeah,
that is
it's true. But so it's quite interesting to notice that it's not the same way. Maybe more.
Different ways of expression.
Yeah.
Well, with this, I would like to thank you, for making this wonderful film. The takeaway for me is, and the concluding remarks from my side is that we are losing this generation, unfortunately. This generation was full of generosity, believing in principles of egalitarianism, sectarianism, more accepting and more open-minded when it came to, including different segments of the society. And I feel, and the kind of love and emotion, affection, even the bodily affection that we received from this generation, I find that is missing in us. I want to become Nani India. I want to grow old like her. Yes, I loved her absolutely, because I also had this.
Say that. Wow.
I want to be Nani India for my grandkids, because I don't think that we should let this tradition die. Nani India has to live forever in most of us, So thank you very much, Rupa.
I just wanted to say there was a question that was asked on the second question on what to do with the gods, if I understood it right.
Yeah.
That what this the person asked, that she's not sure what would happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they asked what should.
So don't worry. I would just tell her, as we didn't know what would happen. What would have happened to Nani India's Thakurji's. The spirit of the house in Patel Nagar is gone, but it has come here to France with us. And it was the Thakurjis who decided in a way that they wanted, the way we went for 3 days and we just brought back Thakurjis with us. So I'll tell that the person who asked the question that please don't worry, everything is taken care of. And Nani India used to say that. I didn't believe her that time. And I've started believing I am a new person. So things would come to you, just let things go. And thank you very much, everybody, for making this happen. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us this beautiful film to us. Thank you. And Rupa, thank you very much. And our deepest, condolences for you and your family. We understand.
Thank you, Saida.
Yeah, it is our loss also. It is the loss of the generation, it is loss of the world. But as I said, Nani India is going to live with us, in us, and I am going to be the next Nani Canada, Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saida.
Thank you,
Love
Anoop. Thank you so much. And say hi to Felix also. Thank you.
Yeah, Felix has gone to bed because it's almost
It's
12.
night. I understand. But thank you very much. You also take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.